And hello, everyone. You're watching ABC News Live. We want to get to some headlines making news this morning. Johnson & Johnson says a new study found that antibody levels in people who got the shot and a booster 6 months later increased ninefold. All of this coming as an alarming forecast used by the CDC shows that hospitalizations could more than double across the country by this time next month if more preventative measures are not taken. But there is some promising news. The White House announcing 6 million shots have gotten into arms in the last 7 days, the highest 7-day total the country has seen in 6 weeks. Speaker Nancy Pelosi chastised 2 House lawmakers who secretly flew to Afghanistan to review the situation at Kabul airport and warned other lawmakers from pulling a similar stunt. Congressman Peter Mayer and Seth Moulton made an unauthorized trip. They are now defending amid criticism that they distracted from the evacuation mission. Pelosi says there's a real concern about members being in the region and that this is, quote, deadly serious. Vice President Kamala Harris's diplomatic trip to Southeast Asia is back on track after being disrupted by a potential case of HAVANA syndrome in Vietnam. It's the latest in a series of more than 130 unexplained health incidents affecting American embassy officials in several countries. Victims experience a range of debilitating symptoms, including headaches, nausea, vertigo, trouble seeing or hearing, and some have even been diagnosed with traumatic brain injuries. But what or who is causing the symptoms is still unknown. Well, today we are taking a closer look at small businesses in the pandemic and how they're dealing with the effects of the Delta variant. According to the Census Bureau, 4.3 million new business applications were filed in 2020, but approximately 800,000 establishments closed between March 2020 and February of 2021. That's according to the Federal Reserve. That's 200,000 additional businesses than the normal closures in a given year. And now small businesses face a new challenge, the Delta variant. And Shark Tank's Barbara Corcoran is joining me now for more on this. Barbara, great to see you.
Nice to see you as well. Thank you.
All right. So we know that small businesses took a hit during the beginning of the pandemic. They took a big hit. And while even just a few months ago, things seemed to be getting a bit better, the Delta variant poses new challenges. So what's it like out there right now for small businesses?
Well, my response might surprise you. It's not that the small businesses out there are not aware of the Delta the Delta variant, and that they're going to have to contend with that possibly. And how are they going to contend with it? But they're much more optimistic. I have seen a total change in the attitude of small businesses just in the last 6 months. When I query many of the small businesses I've invested in on Shark Tank, which number now more than 100, very few of them are worried about the Delta variant, which surprised me initially until I leaned in and heard why. They built their confidence. They felt like they came through the last one. They survived. They incorporated whole new technologies to contend with the consumer and what they wanted, their new needs, those demands. And they feel like they're well equipped to bob and weave and do whatever's necessary. The other thing that I think is an improvement, although it's not really as solid as I'd like to see it, is that many of the states, even sometimes down to the townships themselves, are dictating mandates as to whether you wear a mask, whether you have to have your workers quarantined, whether you have to have the vaccines, or whether you don't have to have the vaccines. But what's great is, depending upon where you're located, there are clear mandates now in most of the places. And so business owners feel like they have a rule to follow. The thing that cripples a small business is never duress or challenge. What cripples a small business is when there's no clarity. Because when there's no clarity, there's a tremendous waste of energy and money, and there's the inability to move forward. So at least we're getting clarity. So honestly, I feel fairly optimistic, even though the promise of us being through the woods is not really a promise anymore. But small businesses are feeling better about it.
And that's, I'll tell you, in our neighborhood, it's the small businesses that right now that are really thriving and staying dedicated to the mission. You know, they have fewer employees usually. They can keep everybody consistent. So we've loved to support the local mom and pop shops, that's for sure. You know, the pandemic has also transformed the way we shop, right, Barbara, including the use of, you know, QR codes, even more online shopping than ever before. So how have businesses had to adapt to that?
Well, they've had to reverse their priorities. Most businesses depend on people walking in through the door, meeting with clientele, selling whoever they're selling their services to. But that has changed. Now they've been removed from the face-to-face communication. And that's actually the subject of our seminar today at the AT&T webinar series sponsored by AT&T Business. We're addressing how do you get those customers close to you when you can't talk to them, you can't directly talk to each one, you can't touch them. How do you make them feel vested in your business, that they're buying from you, an individual, and they want to buy more? But fortunately, the technology is changing so quickly and it's becoming so affordable that every small business can afford to buy it if they know the right technology to buy. And so I'm always emphasizing having a technology partner that you can trust, whether it be AT&T or who your provider is, that's going to give you the straight scoop so you don't waste your money and you get exactly what you need. But it's much easier for businesses today. I can't express to you the difference in the last 18 months on what's available and how affordable everything really is.
That is actually really good news. And, you know, I mentioned these mom and pop shops where they employ family members, people that they know, but there's also a lot of business out there that are facing, you know, a shortage of employees, especially in retail, restaurant, hospitality. How are these businesses supposed to get back on their feet if they haven't had those dedicated employees with them for a long time that believe in the mission? But, you know, other businesses that reach out to the community or outside of the community, what do they do about the worker shortage?
You put your finger on exactly the largest issue affecting every small business, small, medium, large, every industry. No one has the workers they need. And what they have to do about it and what certain business owners are already doing about it and succeeding beyond their wildest dreams is they're getting competitive on employees. Most of the great companies out there that are doing more business now than they were 6 months ago don't have an employee shortage at all, because what they're willing to do is shorten their margins and pay their workers a little bit better than the next guy. And believe me, getting paid more is an attractive benefit. You know, we've come through a time where we've had a lot of encouragement for people to stay home versus go to work. That's changing if you could offer enough lures to bring the workers in. And there are small companies that have arranged operations with local colleges to pay for tuition for night courses. It doesn't cost a lot, but boy, is that a lure. But the major lure of the people who are doing it so well are giving flexibility to the workers, flexibility of when they can come in, how many hours must they be in or not at all, so that they could stay at home and attend to the kids, who some of those kids are still not back at school or won't be back at school in the fall of the year. So giving flexibility is a major card, and it really doesn't cost a thing. You just pay them a little more, offer other benefits, but most importantly, honor them as though they're the customer. What can we do for you lately to make you happy? That lures workers in, and it keeps them loyal to you. It always has. But people have to try harder today because it's a competitive field out there.
Well, you are practicing what you preach when you talk about a very helpful freebie. You are continuing the series of free webinars helping small businesses recover after last year. Later today, 2 p.m. Eastern, you're going to host the free live seminar called Business Unusual. So give us a little preview and tell us, with many empty storefronts, is now a good time to start a business?
You know, it's the absolute best time to start the business, which sounds counterintuitive because most people think in tough times, it's the worst time. But what you have going for you if you start a business now is you have no memory bank. You have no memory of how it was done before or what you had to give up or who was doing it right or wrong. You start from scratch. You have a free slate. You can go out and listen hard to your customer and analyze what they really need today, because boy, has that customer changed what they need. And you can serve the customer. Of all of the businesses I've been invested in, some for as long as 12 years, I can tell you the newer businesses are doing the best because they have no deficit by having no memory. And the attitude of almost being too stupid to know any better, you know, just jumping forward and hustling like crazy and seeing what you could do. But it's a great asset, that naive card of optimism. And because the customer is so open right now to new ways of doing things, they're open to new businesses. They're wide open. And so you couldn't have chosen a better time to really open a business. You know, today's seminar, we're focusing on such an important topic. We're using Harley Finkelstein, who heads, of course, Shopify, who is a walking genius at collecting customers, new customers, and keeping them. And we're going to get every one of his shop secrets. And we have experts from AT&T as well, giving all their secrets on how to track customers and keep them through technology. And technology is where it's at. You have to have the right technology. And thank God today it's inexpensive, affordable, and changing by the month. So you have to stay on top of it.
Let me ask you while I have you, these, free webinars that you've been doing, as you look back at this series and the various ones that you've already done, have you discovered anything new, something that surprised you, something that you didn't maybe realize and thought to yourself, ooh, we need to do a series on that?
We probably have a list of 20 topics. We wish we could do 20 series in the next couple of days. Impossible. But the one thing that I think has been common to each of the topics we have covered thoroughly is, in the end, everything you want to do better comes back to new technology. I mean, I went into the series honestly thinking that that was helpful. I'm coming out of the series, even though we have another few to run, I'm coming out of the series thinking that that's a starting point. It has even affected my attitude toward who I invested in Shark Tank. This last season on Shark Tank that I just came back from shooting, I'm telling you, I did not invest in a single business that wasn't on their tech, because I felt like it was a report card that they would not succeed. I could not have known that if I hadn't been conducting these series and listening very hard. Technology today is not an option. It's a starting point. And if you want to sell anything, whether it be a business or a product, you want to attract people in, you want to keep them, you want to get employees, whatever you're doing, it starts with technology. But the good news is it's also affordable and accessible. And that I could not have said 2 years ago. So I think overall, I'm very optimistic. I feel very optimistic that business is going to do better than ever. I already see it happening. And I'm just so thrilled about that. It feels like getting a great report card in business by trying hard. It always feels good. Yeah.
All straight A's. Now, do you want to tease or give us any kind of little insight to maybe some businesses you have bought into, possibly a little peek into Shark Tank, or are we not allowed to say anything?
Yeah, of course. Oh, no. You don't mean the new ones that I just bought into, do you?
Oh, I kind of was.
You mean the old ones?
No, all right, we won't talk about the new ones. How about an old one? What's an old one you've been very happy that you invested in? Maybe surprised you in a way you didn't expect.
The word has shocked me in a way.
Okay.
3 years ago on Shark Tank, we had two crazy brothers. I say crazy because they look like crazy guys to me, as well as to all the other sharks, walk onto the set with oversized blankets with hoods on them. And they sang a song like Jingle Bells, but they substituted for Jingle Bells, Comfy Bells or something crazy. The name of the product was Comfy. They claimed everybody in America was going to buy this product. We asked them why. They had no reason. They said they liked it. We asked them what they'd sell it for, what it cost to make, who they're going to sell it to. The answer to everything is, we don't know. We don't know. We don't know, as they looked at each other. Well, every shark was not interested. But I was late in the day. I hadn't bought any businesses that day. And I thought, those guys look like a blast. I think I want to hang out with them. So I made a luxury purchase of investing $50,000 for a third of their business. They had no other offers. Now we are here 3 years later, and they have $800,000 in sales. They weren't crazy. They just believed, and they found a way to make it happen. It has been probably the most successful business on Shark Tank. And each day I wake up to another check coming in the mail. I'm thinking, how did this happen? I did not see them as a potential winner. I usually can spot my winners in advance, but boy, has it been a lovely surprise. I feel like every week is Christmas all over again. And that's Comfy, because everybody has at least one Comfy, and they keep buying them and keep buying them. So I love to talk about that story because it's the least likely kid to succeed, and they succeeded like crazy.
I love that. I love supporting the underdog. I love how you do that, Barbara. And hey, we all want a little comfort. Thank you so much. What a great conversation. I appreciate you.
Don't forget to watch our webinar.
Okay, I'm tuning in.
Okay.
And that does it for this newscast. I'm Kira Phillips. Thanks so much for joining us. And remember, ABC News Live is here for you all day with the latest news, context, and analysis. And we are awaiting a press briefing from Secretary Antony Blinken on the situation in Afghanistan. We will bring that to you live as soon as it happens. Meanwhile, I'll see you back here at 3 p.m. Eastern with Terry Moran for The Breakdown. Have a great day.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.